It was 10 last night, and I may be being generous. Same with tomorrow. Verlander, maybe the latest with him in the news may uptick that a little bit. I don't know, but maybe people may come hoping to catch a glimpse of the misses while they're there. I don't know. But and Scherzer tomorrow, what Thursday? Maybe you're gonna do 13 to 15. I can't see much. All right, we'll talk about that when we come back. And the Indians got to get it back on track. You've got two more with the Tigers here. Crucial homestands. You cannot start giving away the ground that you've gained. Let's talk about that. Let's pick up the pace, baby. We're going to the phones when we come back. We're talking Tribe. John McMullen from the Sports Network 20 minutes from now talking Browns with his NFL predictions. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan talking Tribe and Browns and Buckeyes and previewing Virginia Tech just about 45 minutes from now and so much more. Don't go anywhere. Have a drink on me. Well, you may need one after watching the ninth inning last night, so have that drink. Come on back. Well, wait a minute. It's noon if you're listening live. Okay, maybe make sure it's not too adult of a beverage. And get on back here. Let's do the Sports Fix thing when we get back.
The Sports Fix, the show that asks the question,
what you talking about, Lou? What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about? What you talking about, Lou? What you talking about? What you talking about, Lou?
We'll be right back.
Guys, want to take just a second as we head into this break and remind you about the official business printing source of the Sports Fix, our friends at Signs and Ship. Signs and Ship, I'm telling you, Chris and Pam, they've taken care of me since day one, and they can do the same for you. Whether you're a small business that's already been established and you're looking to grow to that next level and expand your business, or perhaps you've got an idea that you just know is going to be a great business and you need to figure out how to brand it and how to promote it and put it out there, Signs and Ship is the place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
It's an addiction. The Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
In baseball, miracles can happen when a team works together.
2 out, bottom of the ninth.
Down to their last strike.
The same is true in the fight against cancer. That's why MLB has teamed up with Stand Up to Cancer. Because we believe that when we all stand up together,
41,000 on their feet.
we can make cancer history.
Now everybody's standing.
What a buzz in this building.
This is beyond a dream. Stand up with MLB at standuptocancer.org.
The Sports Fix is on iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeart app today. Subscribe to the show and get your fix.
You love Cleveland, and you already know how much we love Cleveland. You know who else loves Cleveland? GV Art and Design. Everyday fans, you and I wear our pride on our sleeves. Now, you can wear your pride on your chest. GV Art and Design has one of the hottest Cleveland sporting lines. Log on right now to gvartwork.com. Check out all of their fantastic designs.
And don't forget, use the sales code FIX10, FIX10, to save 10% on your total purchase.
Follow gvartwork.com on Facebook, and remember, GV Art and Design, it's not just a shirt, it's a statement.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Indian fever, it's catching fire with everyone.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. As Charles Morgan said in the chat room, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and you guys are listening literally in like 23 of the 24 time zones that are out there or whatever. So, yeah, it's a good time to have. I guess some of you it's okay. Just I don't want to be responsible for day drinking amongst those of you that are over here in our neck of the woods. You know, I don't want to cause a whole new phenomenon there, man. So, anyways, welcome back into the show. Having some fun here, feeling good, getting ready to go back to the phones. Going to keep the Indians conversation going here as the Indians fall last night to the Detroit Tigers. And, you know, we talked about, the balancing act there with leaving 12 runners on base for the Tigers. Indians, hey, they left a small village as well. 11 guys left on base for them there. And unable to really punch through against the youngster when you need to, when it looked like, hey, maybe we might be looking at a big night there. So anyways, back in, talking some Tribe here and looking at some of the numbers here. We talked a bit about Carlos Carrasco again, 5 1/3 innings, just 1 run allowed, and the Indians rotation, just 3 or fewer runs allowed in 5 of the last 6, obviously, Kluber. And that's what I meant earlier when I said now, like, and it seems to work out that way. When a team is held up by a couple of mainstays while a lot of inconsistency goes on, is it just me, or doesn't it seem traditionally to work out that way, that when everybody else starts contributing and when you start getting more of a group effort, then sometimes you see that buckle out of the ones that were there, and it's startling, like I mentioned with Kluber, or when you get the aberration like last night when Chicken Al met his match in Martinez, you know. But that seems to work out that way sometimes. I just noticed that Indians. Speaking of parity, the AL Central, Tribe is now 29-29 within the division here, and the big stretch of those coming. Don't forget, 28 of the final 39 games, all against divisional opponents, including the matchups they've got left with Detroit. Cleveland and Detroit, 7-7. The record this year, much better than the lopsided number last year, as you've got 5 head-to-head matchups remaining there. And surprisingly here, Indians have lost more at home than they have on the road. They're 4-2 in Comerica Park, 3-5 at Progressive Field heading into tonight's game against them. Another note, too, last night's game, not just with the Indians, but on both sides, 10 strikeouts by each club's starting pitcher. Last time Tribe had a game like that, 2007, when Matt Garza and CeCe both had 11 strikeouts for a game. And here's the amazing part. Both pitchers did that last night I'm referring to in 6 innings or less. That hasn't been done in a while. Last time, see, this trivia question set itself up. Verlander puts himself back in the conversation when him and Randy Wolf both had 10 Ks in less than 6 innings back in 2008. All right, we're going to keep that going, but I'm going to let you jump in on it before we go any more further with that and I get into being depressed about the attendance. Again, I'm going to throw it to the phone lines. Caller, you're next up. We're talking some Tribe on the Sports Face.
Good morning, J-Rock.
Good morning. This is my buddy Bruce.
Yeah. Hey, a couple of things.
What's up?
Huh?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hey, a couple of things about last night. Not only the attendance kind of, threw everything. ESPN reported this morning that the Indians front office were actually sending workers out trying to give away tickets to that game last night to get people in there, and so they still ended up with 9,000.
I didn't hear that, but
the thing that got me about last night's game was, I don't know, Carlos Carrasco did like a Houdini imitation or something. They had runners on second and third in every inning and didn't score.
I know.
And, he gave up 1 run on a bases-loaded walk. The only walk he had all night, by the way. And, it was just, one thing after another. You almost felt like they were going to win because of just the way things were going, it was like, hey, why don't we just give them the invisible man on third to start the inning and then see if we can work our way out of it,
And hey, you know what? The Indians, they did it to themselves too offensively. They let Lubstein off with 2 runs on 5 hits. He had 10 Ks, as we mentioned earlier, in 5 1/3 innings. But you get him rocking early. I'm thinking, all right, man, maybe you get to this kid early and we don't even monkey around with this, because we know that we've had problems with the lefties and the young lefties and the unknown guys that teams have thrown at us this year. But he settled in. He took care of business, threw 61 of his 101 pitches for strikes.
And his previous high going into last night's game was 3 strikeouts or something like that? It was just a ridiculous number. And he pitched like Cy Young, you know?
And I'll tell you what, check this out. I mean, you know, it is what it is, but he becomes one of the Tigers who got 10 strikeouts in his first 3 major league appearances, the only other ones being Jack Morris back in '77 and Denny McLain back in 1963, who both did it in their 3rd career games. That's some history to put yourself in there with. I don't know if he becomes a footnote or if the Indians just made him look really good, but Kyle Lobstein definitely put himself in some history for the Tigers last night.
Well, you know, after the game, they do a pregame show on WTAM and or a postgame show, and you know, there was a lot of people calling in that were, you know, totally upset at the way the Indians are playing. You know, now being an Indians fan like forever, you know, there's no reason to be upset. I mean, I understand that you have a 2-game losing streak against Detroit, but you got the weakest part of the schedule coming up. You know, so whatever you don't gain against Detroit, you can actually gain against the rest of the league, hopefully.
I mean, my only disappointment with last night, Bruce, is that I really wanted to at least split this series with Detroit. I did not have high hopes on
and we can still do that.
Yes, but now you got the really hard way to do it. Yes, they can do it. Of course they can. Verlander's beatable, very beatable. But
yeah, especially this year.
Scherzer plays on a different level. So I would have loved to have gotten that one last night. It played out exactly like you said. I thought for sure, I'm like, okay, man, we're going to knock this thing out. Although the tough part of the lineup looms, and you can never look past those guys. I know you don't like Cabrera, but man, I mean, that is the way the middle of any lineup should be. That's the way you want it in your dream situation. I mean, we were used to those lineups back in the 90s, you know, when it was just one guy after another. And the middle of that lineup, like I said, whether you're Corey Kluber or whoever you are, to get through those 3, it's tough because each one of them is a battle individually, you know?
Well, you start with Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter.
And you end with JD Martinez. I mean, Martinez was cut by the Astros. You know, he wasn't even good enough to play their AAA. He was released.
He found the right spot. It's following up. Everybody looks better, I guess, when you got a lineup like that around you, man. You know, but
he's having a career season, and he couldn't even play with the Astros. I mean, you know, it's kind of like what I say about people that get released by the Browns, you know, and then they go somewhere else and they play in the Super Bowl. You know, it's like, how did this happen? But you know, that's just the way baseball is set up, I guess. You know, that, you know, you may be the worst guy on the worst team and help somebody win a pennant.
Absolutely.
And I mean, to me, that guy's just, you know, he's done nothing but hit us all year. And
I know.
There's no way to pitch around the middle of that order without giving up a run, you know, because you can't walk everybody.
But that's what I mentioned, too. Martinez nailed Allen earlier in the season for his first blown save of the season.
And Cody has pitched in like 66 games. You realize he's pitched in half of our games this year.
He's definitely been high usage. And I will give him this. You know, obviously he's now blown 2 in a row, but 18 consecutive opportunities turned over before that. He had been coming in and taking care of business, you know, but so hopefully it doesn't turn into a situation, because this is what I worry about. We see it. The closer position is fragile. You hope that you can put that behind you and move on. I always worry that when a guy gets a couple in a row, that they don't put it behind them and get past it, and then you get caught in one of those situations. Whether, you know, we've seen it with Perez and Axford in the last few years, to where they just couldn't get it fixed.
And we're seeing it now with Kluber. I mean, he's pitched 83 more innings than he has in his whole career.
I know.
And
I think that's part of it.
Our whole pitching staff is like that because, Cody has never pitched this many innings or appeared in this many games anyway. And, it's like this season's like a month too long for us because, our pitching staff's going to be completely worn out. I mean, we use seven relievers a night.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and that would be great if you're getting the start, and that's where